Hello and welcome to 3-Minute Theology Thursday. Today we are talking about the holiness of God, what it means, what the Bible has to say about it, and why it matters. Roll intro. Now in systematic theology, when Grudem talks about God's holiness like this, God's holiness means that he is separated from sin and devoted to seeking his own honor. Now, we see in the Bible this concept of God being separated from sin in the world in God's instructions for the tabernacle in Exodus chapter 26. He says, "And you shall hang the veil from the clasps, and bring the ark of the testimony in there within the veil. And the veil shall separate for you the holy place from the most holy." See, the tabernacle was a place that was separated from the evil of the world. And the first room in the tabernacle was called the holy place. Now within the holy place was another room called the most holy. And this place was the most separated from sin and the most dedicated to God and God's service. Now, the point of all this is that God is holy. It's meant to show us that God himself is separated from sin and from the world. In Isaiah is talking about the seraphim up in heaven, and he says, "And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." In Psalm 99, David tells us to exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy mountain, for the Lord our God is holy. Okay, so how should we share in God's holiness? Well, God's holiness sets an example for us to follow in our own lives. God tells Moses in Leviticus to speak to the congregation of the people of Israel and say to them, "You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." Paul also calls us to separate our lives from sin in this manner. He says, "Since we have these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body and spirit, bringing holiness to completion in the fear of God." Now, another thing to keep in mind is that we, as the Church of Christ, are to become holy. In Ephesians, Paul tells husbands to love their wives, and he gives this as a sort of example for them to follow. Just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Now, one of the other things about God's holiness is that in the very end, God is going to make everything holy. He's going to cleanse everything of sin. In Revelation, it says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away." So, this end time, when God makes all things right, when God makes all things holy, is something we should look forward to, something we should press on towards with hope. Thank you for watching. My name is Jacob, and God willing, I'll see you in the next video. Remember to set your mind on things above.